Hello and welcome to Prime of the Night. I'm your host, Joe Stoneworks, and tonight I'm here with the Mr. Secretary of the UDNO, otherwise known as the Union of Democratic Nations and Organizations, Mr. Lirez himself. How are you doing, Lirez?
I'm doing good, Joe.
I'm glad you're doing good. I'm glad you're here with us tonight. I have a lot of questions I want to ask you about this organization and democracy as a whole because, I can't be biased or anything, but I will say that I think democracy is a superior ideology here on Stoneworks. So wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little about your history on the server. I understand that you've been here for a long time.
Well, yeah, I have played since, 2 years back, and before Apex was a thing, I played in a nation called Ryzen, where I did some small scale politics, and yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me like what kind of nation was that? Was it democratic? Kind of like
Well, it was democratic, it has different eras, like sometimes there was one era before I joined, which they were a republic, and then they were absolute monarchy, and then after that, a constitutional monarchy,
Okay.
and then
I
it
got
went,
you.
yeah.
All right. So the Union of Democratic Nations and Organizations. I understand that you are the secretary of that. What is it like leading such a big organization such as that?
It's fun and sometimes challenging to get so many nations to organize and
Right.
to try to do something big.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that is probably really difficult, but I guess it's one thing that's good is that you guys are all democratic nations, so you guys have like a really good like you guys are all the same ideology, so it's really easy to get along with each other. And I'm sure you guys like brainstorm together to figure stuff out and improve that democracy within like everyone's nations. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, why do you think democracy is the superior ideology on Stoneworks?
Well, the thing with democracy is that more people can join the ranks of governments, and more people could, have power, and it could be more welcoming for new players, as they could,
Yeah,
when they learn the systems, like, oh, instead of being like, okay, I just live under one monarch, I could just, oh, okay, I can actually go up in elections and get political power through that.
yeah. So, I guess another question I want to ask you about that: what what do you guys do if someone like there's like a shadow rule? Let's say someone who's been president or prime minister or anything revolving the for a while, and then they step down, but they're still influencing that nation. Like, what do you guys do about that? What does the UDNO do about that?
Well, we would take this as a case by case. If it is like only, like advisory, then we would be like, okay, it's fine. But it's like, if they have political power, then that would be in some ways a quasi dictatorship, which we would
Yeah,
then probably open up and like talk about with them, like, okay, why are you doing this, and like we need, if that it could lead to them being kicked out.
so the UDNO kind of serves as like a checks and balance, sort of.
Well, yeah, in some ways, yeah.
All right, I like that. So what are some of your future plans on the server? Like, what do you strive to do?
Well, plans are really to, keep the UDNO alive and make it thrive, and also do some politics in the nation I'm a part of.
Like that, I like that. What is one thing you hate and why?
Well, one thing I hate is, of course, dictatorships, as that is in some way that is tyranny against the people, really.
It is indeed. Is there anything you want to say out to any dictatorships who are watching this?
Well, rethink yourselves and become democracies. Let your people choose the way of your country instead of you doing
Well-
that yourself.
Well said. Well said. Well, Lirez, thank you for coming on the show. I really enjoyed having you here talking about how democracy is the superior ideology. And the UDNO sounds really nice. It really sounds like an organization that every democratic nation should join. So if you're a democratic nation out there and you're not in it, you're wrong. So, all right. I've been your host, Joe Stoneworks, and I'll see you guys soon.